How is it going, everybody? I just wanted to say that yes, I did cut my hair, but also that this video is gonna be just a little bit different than the rest of my videos, as it's more of a commentary video of sorts. But listen, I have some juicy tips that I'm here to share with you all that will 100% level up your coding game. So hi, I'm Liam. I've been scripting on the platform for maybe 6 to 7 years. Jeez, I honestly forgot. And I have 2 million visits on the platform. But let's cut the chitter chatter and get right into these tips. So I work on a game. It's called Devil Battlegrounds. I'm the sole scripter for the project, and I've been working on this project for several months. And through these months, I've made a whole lot of mistakes, but I've also made like some third eye awakening levels of discoveries. But one of my main discoveries was when and when not to use object-oriented programming, or OOP. Now, coding comes in many different flavors. The one you're all probably familiar with is called procedural programming. This is basically where you write out a set of instructions with the intention of the computer to run all of these instructions sequentially. And this is a really good technique for stuff that you're gonna write once and you don't really need to repeat ever again. A good example of this would be maybe a Roblox tool, as they really all revolve around the premise of being a click to activate thing, and it runs a few things in the tool, and that's about it. But let's say you wanted to create a zombie system where you just want to be able to spawn as many zombies as possible. Now, while you could just, code one zombie and clone it and put it all over the map, there's going to be a problem with this. Let's say you want to change the health of the zombie. Well, now you have to go and find every instance of the zombie and change the script inside of it and its health to 200 instead of 100. Now, this is just not ideal, and also, it's very time consuming. So this is where object-oriented programming steps in. With object-oriented programming, you can organize all of your code into one script called a class, and then you can make duplicates of this object or the zombie with ease because the class that you created actually has a function that will create multiple versions of itself, called objects. This makes it so, say if you want to change the health, you can, and it will apply to all other zombie scripts in your game. But we can take this even further. Let's say you want to add a big zombie, or maybe a crawling zombie. Well, with the concept of abstraction, you can. What abstraction is it takes something like the zombie and it uses it as like a base. And then we can extend the functionality of the zombie to have, a special ability, or even just more simply, more health. And yes, the idea is really as simple as it sounds. If you're interested in this concept, then I highly recommend that you search up tutorials on object-oriented programming on Roblox. It can be done through the use of meta tables, something that I can't even really fully comprehend myself. I've been doing this for 6, 7 years? Oh my gosh. How about let's say though, you're a little bit like me, and you already know what object-oriented programming is, and abstraction, and you utilize it in your project. Well, again, that was me, and for a lot of things, object-oriented programming worked. But there was one thing though, that I made a huge mistake on. I was programming a skill system for my game, Devil Battlegrounds. And something I wanted to do was make a bunch of base forms of different skills and just add on top of them. But the thing with that is you're stuck to using a cookie cutter and you want to make something kind of abstract out of it. It's like trying to fit a block into a circle hole. It just doesn't work. Now, luckily for me, I didn't actually fully enact upon this idea, as it was more of just something I was planning in my head, but that led me to find an even bigger mistake, which, oh my god, it's so stupid. But please, what I'm trying to get you guys to take away from this is that for as many applications as a tool can be used for, there's probably a million other ways that you can misuse it. And there's something in my eye too. Now, I'm sure you're wondering, what is this mistake I made? Well, look, a lot of mistakes programmers tend to make happen to be when they get lazy. And getting lazy as a programmer is a lot easier than it sounds. Look, when I say lazy as a programmer, that basically means that you're trying to find the easiest solution to your problem possible, and if it works, then it works, and you just don't ever touch it again. Well, I bet you guys can start to see where this causes problems. This can cause huge structural problems in your code. It's like trying to build a house and then just make one of the support beams out of like toothpicks or something. You just don't want to do that. Just avoid it. So what I did is I had all these skills in my game, the ones that I was previously talking about. And early on in the project, for things like punching and kicking, I had this damage script, or not damage script, it was a damage function. And this damage function had like 3 parameters: who the target was, how much damage, and if it could be like blocked or something. I'm not sure. And it worked perfectly, and it's all I needed the function to do. But the thing is, well, now there's some 22 moves in the game, and like some of these moves want to ignore ragdolled players, or maybe they're unblockable. And what that means is that I have to add more parameters to the function. And that doesn't seem bad until your function has like 10 different parameters. And at that point, as a programmer, you've messed up. But that begs the question, how does a programmer deal with such a stupid problem as this? Well, it's quite simple, but it's also really not. So instead of using this one function, what I basically had to do was add a damage function to each of the skills individually. That way they can do their own thing, because skills, well, they're completely different, and having the same damage function as I described earlier, it just won't work. In fact, if you're wondering what I'm doing on the project right now, I am still doing that. I am still fixing the moves. I have like 2 left, and unfortunately there are more bugs now than I had originally anticipated for, because, well, when you move around code, it can go one of 2 ways. It's either gonna work perfectly, or you're just gonna create a bunch of bugs. And unfortunately, the complexity of a lot of the moves in my game, or skills, well, they're kind of complex, and when you move code around, there's mistakes that can be made, which cause bugs. Now, remember my whole spiel about object-oriented programming and abstraction? Well, these are actually something that I still do use for my project. I know I said that it was a whole different idea that I never enacted upon, but there is still a base form of the move that all other moves in the game build off of. It's like a template. It's a lot different than creating just a template move, like an attack skill or a range skill. It's a lot different than just making a skill. It's just a skill by itself. There's literally nothing else. My idea was to build off of that so you can build off of it again, and my cat is meowing. But no, you don't want to do that. You can have a base skill. Just, that's it. It's just a base template. But anything else, and it's gonna get out of hand. And you want to jump behind my desk, don't you? What? What? Nope. Alright, you gotta go. Yep. Back to what I was saying. Alright, so I have my cat in my lap. But basically, yeah, it seems like this problem only pertains to me. But trust me, it doesn't. Anyone can misuse programming paradigms. Anyone can accidentally use a function for like literally everything in their game. I mean, like, look at the code of maybe like Yandere Simulator, which was it's kind of an old thing, but a lot of people used to make fun of it because of how poorly optimized it is, and it's because it's true. And I believe that was a problem in the code base of that game. A lot of people make this problem, and I'm just warning you, don't get lazy with your code, or otherwise you will either misuse something or write a function and use it like 50 bazillion times. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much all my advice is. Don't be a lazy programmer, because it will, and I swear, it will come and bite you back in the ass. Thank you all for watching.